Hello, my name is Jan Mattes. I'm Chief Product Manager for Data Protection and Privacy in SAP Business ByDesign, and I'm now going to give you an overview about our 1805 functionalities. So you are all aware about what we have been delivering in the past releases, which is basically abilities to delete personal natural person's data, to disclose all data that we have stored about a natural person. We have mechanisms to control that only data gets deleted, which is not needed for business purpose, let's say for accounting anymore. We have read access logs, which store which sensitive data has been accessed by whom. We have powerful means to control the access to the data overall. And what is now new in 1805 is that we enhanced our marketing consent management in a way that you can now have also different marketing permissions or marketing consents for various channels. Let's say for email you would allow, but for phone calls you disallow, and this can now be tracked centrally in Business ByDesign and also been made available for external applications. But the most significant enhancement in 1805 is that data privacy officers are now able to block the usage of natural persons' data and by that basically minimize usage, which is also requested by many data privacy laws like we have it with GDPR. Let me show this to you right away in the system. So first of all, I want to show you the life cycle of data, and that's why I now in the account management work center, which is used usually by sales professionals, by sales representatives. And what they have to do basically now is to take care that only private accounts and contacts are in the system which are needed for business or which might be needed in the future. And that's of course a challenging task because you never can foresee when will a customer buy again. But basically what we allow here with the system is for the sales representative, he can mark also people and natural persons and private accounts and contacts as being obsolete. And that basically could then be the trigger for the data privacy officer to take those obsolete accounts and to block them for usage. Let me show this to you now. I'm switching now the role to the data privacy officer. And you know that Data Privacy Work Center here very well. What I have now is basically an enhancement in the business partner data removal. And there I could have, let's say, a list for all my obsolete business partners, not only obsolete accounts, but also employees, as you could see here, or service agents. And this is basically my work list, which I can then basically use as input to block the usage for those natural persons. So you see here service agents, accounts, private accounts, contact persons, but also employees. And basically they have been marked by the business users, by HR, by SRM, by CRM, that they are not needed anymore. And the first step in the life cycle would basically be that you say, okay, this is now an account which has been marked as not needed anymore. First, I block that account for usage. And what is now the basic difference? You can see this here in the dialog. As soon the data privacy officers to decide to block the usage for that account, it will not appear anymore in the account management work center, and you cannot use it for new business processes anymore. So I confirm that, and just to prove what happens here, I switch now back into the account management work center and search, let's say here, my obsolete accounts, and by magic you won't be finding that customer Strummer 7 anymore because it's not available anymore. For the normal business users, only the data privacy officers can still access that account and then can also decide to unblock that person again. So let me do the double check. What happens now if I enter, let's say, the ID of such a blocked business partner in let's say the sales order UI or in any other UI. So you can enter manually the ID if you remember that, and you won't be finding anything anymore. And if you confirm with a short click here, then you would get the message, using business partner is not allowed anymore. It's not permitted. Status is not active. So it is basically hindering the normal business users now to create new sales orders, new leads, or to contact that person anymore. You don't see any data of that person anymore besides that error message. And even if you get that error message, you cannot do anything with that anymore. So that's basically depicting very well what can be done with 1805 for blocking the usage. The next step after blocking the usage is, of course, you need to get rid of natural persons data. And when, let's say, a data privacy officer decides to block a natural person, he could also then think of making himself a reminder, because blocking is, of course, not the ultimate aim of data privacy rules. It's also about deletion. And when should you now delete such a business partner? Yes, as soon as possible, but you need to decide really as a data privacy officer. That's why you can then create a task for yourself, a reminder, which asks you, let's say, on the 30th of April 2019, you need to delete that person. And the flow would be then rather simple. So if we would now travel in time as a data privacy officer, I can first, of course, check in the data privacy work center for data disclosure, do we still have data here for that person? Let me check here for private accounts and search for Strummer, in this case Strummer 7. And if I click here, I can click on disclose data. And with that, I would get a synopsis of all the data which has been stored for that private account. You see it's one address, one bank account, and it's assigned to 2 companies. And we also have sales data here for that customer. You see there is 1 sales order available. So that might then be used as basis for my decision to delete that natural person. And the deletion is very simple. I go into the business partner data removal view and then again search for those obsolete business partners. And here I find Strummer number 7. And then I can remove data well, then finally remove everything from the system. And that basically would delete, let's say, leads or activities out of the system. And sales orders will be anonymized, for instance. So you will not be able to recognize who was the creator, who was requesting that sales order. So basically it will be still there because of referential integrity, but all references to natural person will be removed. So it's not personally identifiable anymore. So with that confirmation, that deletion and data destruction run would be happening. And this is basically then the end of the story. You need to be aware that the deletion also, of course, will then affect your reports. So let's say your activities or your leads reports will report different figures. And that's the big benefit of the usage block. If you just block the usage of a business partner, you can still see the key figures unchanged, whereas you cannot filter in the reports anymore for that business partner, but still the key figures will remain unchanged. And so your business reporting will be untouched as long you only block. After deletion, reports will change, of course, dramatically. So let me maybe show you the last new enhancement that we have been introducing in 1805. That's basically, that was the wrong business partner. Let's check here that one. So that's basically the marketing permissions. If I go here to view all for such a private account, and then I can go into the marketing tab, and there you find now channel-specific marketing permissions, which basically allows to really by channel decide what information is allowed to be sent to the customer and what not. And of course, customers need to decide on their own and need to be having a way how they can revoke or grant such marketing permissions easily. So that's why we also introduced interfaces, which can be used for you to connect, let's say, your website to that data and to update that directly in Business ByDesign as the central source of truth. So it would be very easy for me now to, let's say, disallow all communication here for that business partner. With one click, basically, I can block all sales and marketing oriented communication for a business partner with that marketing consent. So I hope you like what you have seen and you stay tuned for more videos in the future.